Excuse me, hello, Mr. Kornbluh?
Oh, hi.
That's your name?
How are you?
Oh, I see. It's just before Shabbos. I
Yeah,
see you
it's
just
really
bought
getting late.
beautiful flowers for your family for Shabbos. I guess you're rushing, so I don't want to keep you for too long. Just let me ask you a few questions, if you don't mind. I know you're covering the mayoral race, and I would like to ask you a few questions about that. Question number one, don't you think that somehow Mayor Bloomberg will work his way and again convince, whoever he needs to convince that he should be able to run a fourth time, which he didn't allow Giuliani to do, but somehow he managed to do it?
Well, first of all, he barely won the mayoral race in 2009. I mean, Bill Thompson spent $9 million and he spent like $110 million and he barely made it to the 50%. So first of all, I don't think he has a chance. But second of all, the guys that were there allowing him a third term are no more in the city council. So I guess there's nobody to lobby within the community to allow ourselves to vote again for Mike Bloomberg. So I don't think it's a realistic question.
Oh, thank God for that one. Okay, so I have to be very careful with the questions I ask you, I assume, and you have to be very careful with what you answer.
No, I'm a spin doctor, so don't worry about it.
What do you think about a very popular candidate, Speaker Quinn?
Well, she's Speaker of the Council. She has a record of speaking out and standing up for some issues that were unpopular. She also is an establishment candidate, or Mayor Bloomberg has his people working for her. Just today she got endorsements of some assembly candidates. She's Speaker of the Council, so ultimately she would get the votes of some city council members. So she is the favorite right now. She was at 39%. She's now dropping to 24%, so we'll have to see what happens.
Great. There's also a very popular person that nobody believed would be so popular when it comes to the race, Anthony Weiner.
Well, he's an energetic guy. First of all, he's one of us. I mean, people remember him as congressman. It was actually part of Brooklyn was his district, so he knows about us, he understands our issues, and also he is a presentable guy. He has charisma, he's energetic, he knows the issues, he knows how to put down himself as a fighter, as somebody that would do unpopular things to please his constituents. So, and he knows the Yiddish, he knows Chulant, he knows Shalom Aleichem, he knows Kishke, gefilte fish, mikveh. So he's one of us. People see him as one of us and they could embrace him. The question remains whether when they enter the ballot booth, would they vote for him? Would they see him as a serious candidate enough to vote him in for mayor? That still remains open.
Yes, I guess I personally met several times the candidate Bill Thompson. He seems to be a very nice guy, and I believe he knows about Cholent as well.
He knows some other Yiddish phrases. I mean, his father, Judge Thompson, is very close with the community. Bill Thompson didn't get so much support here in the Jewish community in 2009. I guess an unpopular assemblyman here in the district endorsed him, so that didn't give him too much of a block vote. But yeah, people know him. He has always been a friend to the Jewish community. He attends events. He knows how to sympathize with us, since we are also a minority voting bloc, and he's a serious guy. The question is, does he have the fire in the belly? Does he have the energy to speak out, to stand up to the unions if elected mayor, and actually to deliver on some promises that he promises about? I don't see him yet as a formidable candidate.
Oh, we'll move on to the next one. There's also someone who's quite popular in this community, Bill de Blasio.
He was council member here in Borough Park. He even has a Jewish liaison, somebody of the community, Penny Ringel. I'm sure you know him. He knows us. He is a friend of the Jewish community. But he's a liberal. He's a progressive candidate. He's seeking the UTF endorsement, which is against school vouchers. He's talking about raising taxes for those making $200,000 or $500,000. We pay enough taxes? So he's a liberal, progressive guy that, yes, people know he's a friend of ours. Some people might vote for him because he is seen as an alternative to Christine Quinn or to Anthony Weiner or to some others. But to say that as mayor he would be a friend to the Jewish community, I think we have to look at his policy proposals and see, does that proposal match the interest of our community?
I see this interview is going pretty well, so I think I'm going to ask you to excuse me and give me another couple of minutes.
Go ahead.
Because I want to go ahead with John Liu. I know him as a friend of a lot of Jewish people.
John Liu, if I may say, he has not missed a Jewish event ever. He always comes to the Jewish events. He is a friend of the Jewish community. I mean, he has some Hasidic employees. He had Simcha Felder, he has Pinny Heiken. Yes, we have the same problem with John Liu, which is his policies don't match the interests of our community, and also he's not seen as a serious candidate. He had this scandal. He has not been moving up in the polls. People don't see him as a contender for a runoff if nobody gets 40%.
Okay, yeah, you see, I have a problem, pronouncing some of these candidates' names. I think this one I'll do pretty good. Eric Salgado.
Oh yeah, he's a reverend. He's the only conservative in the Democratic primary. Now the reason why he didn't run as a Republican is his voting bloc, which are the Hispanic voters, they are all registered as Democrats. He's still relying on some Jewish votes, those who voted for Bob Turner because of the same gender bill, those who voted for David Sorobin over Lou Fidler because of the same gender bill. So those who are really, who care about Torah values and moral values, family values, social conservatism, they would embrace him. He was this week at the Sklener Rebbe. I mean, the Sklener Rebbe is viewed as somebody that is beloved all over. He's a serious guy. If this would translate into votes, remains to be seen. And also, he's a long shot. People don't like to support a long shot, even though all of his promises match the interest and the values of our community.
Yeah, I believe he received the blessing of the Sklener Rebbe. I wasn't there. But also I saw somewhere that Anthony Weiner received the blessing of the Munkatzer Rebbe.
So, as long as they all come to receive blessings, they come to the Jewish community, they don't neglect us, they court us for our vote, that is a blessing for us.
Let's move on to Sal Albanese.
Sal Albanese he was a council member in Bay Ridge. He used to attend the Kojos, the JCRC events. He knows the Jewish community. He actually was the first elected official from New York City Council that paid a visit to Israel when it wasn't popular yet. We're talking about in the 80s. So he's intelligent, he is smart, he has some smart ideas, he's a little moderate. He speaks out, he's an outsider, he has a lot of qualities. Again, he's a long shot. He hasn't moved in the polls ever since. In some polls don't even include him. So it remains to be seen if he comes to our community, if he does some serious outreach. Yes, I think people should consider him.
Yeah, not everything is just our community. New York City consists of 5 boroughs. There's, multi-ethnicity and all different, the melting pot. New York City is a melting pot, so there's a lot more to do than just to visit our community.
No, I'm speaking specifically because you stopped me in the heart of Borough Park.
Oh, this is Borough Park.
You should have stopped me in Queens. I would have spoken about Queens.
Let me try to see if I can pronounce this one right. John Catsimatidis.
You got it, man.
I did it.
He's the Republican. He's now in a primary with Joe Lhota and George McDonald. I'm giving you a heads up so you don't have to you don't have difficulties to pronounce the name. Actually, he has the money to compete. He has a personality that no candidate has. One-on-one, he's terrific. He has fascinating ideas.
One great idea I know of. He hired actually my friend Joe Lefkowitz.
Yoeli is my buddy, and he did the best choice by hiring Yoeli. Go for it. So to come back to John Catsimatidis, he has the money to compete. He's investing. I even got 2 mailers from him on one day. So he's investing now in name recognition. The idea that you managed to pronounce his name is significant inroads, because until recently nobody, even myself, I had to chew it over and over in order to pronounce it. So he's doing some inroads by you pronouncing his name.
Let me hear you pronounce it again.
John Catsimatidis.
Very good. I'm impressed. How about Joe Loader?
Joe Loader is a friend of mine. We speak a lot. He is a serious guy. He was deputy mayor under Mayor Giuliani. He was the MTA head last year. He handled Hurricane Sandy. The subway system got back into business within a week. So he has a terrific experience. He's a serious guy. He's a Republican. He supports vouchers. He even, I would say, he even evolved on the issue of Matita Mepay. He had a recent question. Somebody asked him about Matita Mepay. He said, well, I think it's a reasonable approach. But after speaking to me and some other Jewish leaders, he actually announced that he has evolved and he opposes the regulation of Mayor Bloomberg on Matita Mepay. So he's economically, financially, in terms of values when it comes to education, vouchers, affordable housing, lower taxes for our businesses. He's in line with us. He has name recognition, some name recognition. He doesn't have the money to compete, but when placed against Christine Quinn or Anthony Weiner in a general election, I think it could be a competitive race.
What matters to me is that somebody that doesn't have Mayor Bloomberg's ideas, because I personally really dislike him. I know his game and the way he puts down how crime is down. What was it last weekend? How many people were shot?
21, I think.
And he's still going to come up with certain ideas how he's going to prove that crime is down, and so on and on. And this is, and all his ideas. He was a total disaster, I believe, for New York City. And I really hope that we can have some Giuliani kind of times with a new mayor.
It's up to the voters. It's really up to the
Yeah,
voters.
but many times these voters make some wrong decision according to, I don't know what they base it on.
I would say, first of all, I would disagree. I would say voters are very intelligent. Voters don't...
Nah, don't even go there.
It's 2013.
Don't even go
man.
there. Were they intelligent when they voted for our last president? Do you see intelligence in there?
You don't want to get me quoted on that because...
yes, I do want...
Mother Jones will take this video and it would...
Yeah, I do want you quoted there, but on a different interview. Okay, so I see the people already, rushing to get home on time. So have a good Shabbos.
And just to mention, there are 2 other candidates running. George McDonald, which is a terrific, humorous guy. I love him. He even recently made a picture of me in during a forum. So he's kind of funny. And you have Adolfo Carrion, which is running on the independence line. He was a former Obama official. He's like in middle of the road when it comes to economics. But, it's a 3-man race. I don't see it happen.
I see you so well informed and everything. I'm so happy that I was actually...
to be informed and to inform others.
Exactly, and I just happened to bump into you. That's great. And I hope to do some more stuff with you.
Have a good Shabbos.
Have a good Shabbos and make sure the challenge comes out good.
Oh, it's awesome.